Hey, what's up everybody? Alright, so something different for the channel. I mentioned in the other videos that I do, the Mustang videos, the ATV videos, that I haven't done as many videos lately. Haven't spent any money on the car, haven't spent any money on four-wheelers, ATVs at all, for the reason that I've been spending money on investing. I've been investing a lot. I spend a lot of time doing this, and I read a lot of charts, and I do a lot of things that are related to investing, whether it be stocks, Forex, which is foreign exchange, or cryptocurrencies, which I mostly do. Doesn't really matter, it's all investments. This all stemmed from me losing most of the money that I had in 2008 from my 401k. I was really irritated by that. It frustrated me. And it took me a long time to build up what I had back in there, okay? Pre-divorce, I pulled that money out that I built back up, which I still didn't think was enough after, like 9-10 years. It just didn't seem like as much as I thought it should have been. And I got to thinking, well, who better to spend my money than me? Why do I keep trusting other people to spend my money? What do they know that I don't know? Okay, so I set out to learn. What do I need to learn? How do I learn it? At first, I was frustrated. Didn't make sense to me. Irritated me. It made no sense at all. It just looked like some green and red dots on a page, and I had no clue what was going on. But luckily, little by little, I learned more. I got better at it, and as I learned more and got better, and I started to really spice up the investment amount that I was using, my investments went up. Now I've taken some losses, I've made some gains, but along the way I've gotten better. Combined with some other guys whom we have a private group with, we combine our skills and knowledge and we put it all together, and when we do that we become even more successful. So the idea behind this is, when I first started this, I was told that technical analysis, which is the analysis of charts, doesn't work for cryptocurrencies. I was told it only works for stocks. I was told it only works for foreign exchange. So at first I went with that. I thought that was legit. I thought that was the way things were supposed to work. I didn't know then what I know now. I relied on others for information. I relied on others for charts. I relied on others for advice. I learned the hard way that was the incorrect play. It took me some time to learn that, but I have learned that. So with that, I want to get into this. All right, I've got other videos through a massive series of classes and teaching and learning that I've done that I'm not going to share yet. I'm going to start with this video, and every once in a while I'll put one up on the channel for public. Most of the videos that I've made are private, just for the group. But I'm going to make this one public because I want everyone to kind of be informed on how this stuff works and how you can make money on it yourself, okay? So there are a few simple rules here. Technical analysis is a breakdown of the chart from a scientific point of view. When I say a scientific point of view, I mean no emotions. None. Zero emotions. Not happy, not sad, not maybe, not a hope, not possibly. We don't do that. We only do the science of the chart. Okay? That's not 100% accurate. I don't care whether it's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, Forex, it doesn't matter. It's all the risk, okay? This is real money. This is my real money. This is other guys' real money. This is how we do it. Everything's a risk. If there's no risk, there's no reward. You can't know risk without reward, okay? Just like you can't know pleasure without pain. You got to hurt a little bit to learn what feels good, okay? So I'm going to start with Bitcoin. Even though I don't own any Bitcoin, I don't trade any Bitcoin, it was the first. All right, so a lot of other coins rely on Bitcoin to bounce off of, and they rely on the buying and selling volume of Bitcoin to move their own charts, which seems a little bit ridiculous, and it's going to be tough to explain it right off the bat, but there's a dominance chart which measures the market cap, the amount of money in Bitcoin, just like it would be the amount of money in Apple or the amount of money in Tesla. That's called the dominance chart. And the dominance chart goes up and down, but the dominance is over other coins because it's either Bitcoin or alternate coins. Okay, everything else is an alternate coin. Ethereum, XRP, Tron, ADA, which is Cardano, XLM, which is Stellar Lumens. It doesn't matter. It's all altcoins. Okay, then there's some really bad altcoins, which you're going to hear me refer to as shit coins. That's because they're shit coins. They have a very, very small market. They have a very small use case. You'll hear me refer to the coins that actually matter or have a use case, in my opinion, and the opinion of some other guys, as legacy coins, because they have a legacy. They're going to have a use. They're going to have a legacy. They're going to have a purpose. They're not just something out there to be used. It's the opinion of myself and some others that Bitcoin doesn't really have a use anymore. You're going to say, oh, you mean Bitcoin when you hear cryptocurrency, but that's only because it's the first. It's not really a useful coin anymore. It's kind of, I guess the best way to describe it would be the old military Jeep, and all the other coins, all the other altcoins act like Humvees or Buffaloes or Bradley assault vehicles or Sherman tanks, and you just got the old military Jeep, old reliable Bitcoin. It's slow, it's clunky, it's frustrating, it's laggy. It still works, kind of like a Jeep, but it's not the best way to do things. Okay, they've improved the Jeep over the years. They have not improved Bitcoin over the years. It's the same Bitcoin from day one. All right. So with that, let's get into something else. Let's get into actually looking at the chart and seeing what we understand here. So there's a few simple things about the chart we have to know first. Just looking at the chart, you don't see anything but some green lines, some red lines, and some dots, and some weird looking squibbly stuff. All right, so I'm going to take some of this stuff off so we don't even see it because it's not totally necessary. So I'm going to hide this stuff so you don't even see it. All right, so right now what we have is, along the bottom, we have dates, which are the timeline that we're in, the current time we're reading. Each column is a year. See that? 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. You can follow my cursor and follow the date. And the time on the right here, the vertical column is the price of whatever we're looking at. Doesn't matter whether it's Apple, which I can pull up here. I went right by it, I think. There it is. Here's Apple. It's the price of Apple. The chart since 1996, the chart since 1996 is steadily up. I don't have to explain that to you. That went from down to up. That's good. Let me pull my chart back up. I think it was Bitfinex or Bittrex. That was Bittrex, wasn't it? Bittrex. You probably don't understand what I'm saying when I say Bittrex. Doesn't really matter. These are all just different Bitstamp. That's what it was. There we go. These are all just different exchanges, places where you can buy Bitcoin. Just like going to the store. It's no different. It's like a retail store for coins. So, all right. The first thing to know is each one of these represent a movement in price. On my particular chart, the green ones are price up, the red ones are price down. Okay. Each one of these is called a candle. Why is it called a candle? Because if you look at it up close, it kind of looks like a candle. Yeah, it's got the wax with the wick going up to the top, right? The wax with the wick going up to the top. Each candle represents, on this particular chart, I've got it on the monthly time frame. 1 month, right there. See that? So this is 1 month of trading, up and down. 1 month, each one. Red was down, green was up. All right. So the candles represent a couple things. When we see a solid wide candle like this in green, that represents lots of buying and very, very little selling. Okay? When we see a red one that's solid bodied, just like this, that represents lots of selling and very little buying. Alright? When we see one where it's mostly thin lines or the wick of the candle with a very small body, very small wax section, this is indecision. This is some selling, some buying, and not a lot of decision. It's indecision. This shows indecision. They don't know whether to buy or sell. Each one of these candles represents a battle between buyers and sellers. All right, and what we call that is a battle between the bulls, who are the buyers, let me pull up an arrow here, and the sellers, the bears. All right. Pretty common sense. The buyers are the bulls. They pull the price up, just like a bull. It uses its horns to go from the bottom up. That's the way a bull works. And then you have the bears, the sellers. A bear claws down. A bear does not claw up. A bear claws down. When a bear attacks, it starts from the top and rips down, just like a seller does on the chart. All right, so every candle has this inside of it. This is a 1 month candle, each one. Well, each candle has a minute worth of trading, an hour worth of trading, 4 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, a day, 2 days, 4 days, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. All that's inside of this candle right here. Each candle has that. Sounds confusing, but it's not really. The main idea here is you want to identify which way we're going. Are we going up or down? And we look at these candles to help determine that. All right, let me delete this stuff, get this off the screen so it's a little easier to read. I don't want everybody to get confused. Again, I do not own any Bitcoin. And this is not financial advice. Why do I say that? Because all I do is show you what I see the chart doing. I am not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. I only use my own money. I do not use your money. I do not use anyone else's money. If you would like me to buy and sell with your money, just give it to me. I'll be happy to spend your money for you somewhere else. I'd love to have a Lamborghini. So if anybody wants to give me some money for a Lamborghini and call that a quote-unquote investment, I'll be glad to buy one. All right, I'm going to leave this right here because I don't want to hear no complaining later in case you lose money. All right, so we've identified what a candle is. We know that green candles are good and red candles are bad. We know that wicks indicate indecision. We know that big body candles with full wax on them indicate no indecision. Lots of buyers. Lots of sellers, some indecision, some other indecision. There's a lot of candle patterns that I could go into. Not going to go into that right now. Doesn't really matter. What I'm going to focus on is the trend, which is the direction, and how we knew where it was going to go when it went. Okay. We have all these other tools in the app that I'm using here, which is called TradingView. There's another video on TradingView that I can add in here, and I'll put it up here in the corner, over here somewhere. That'll guide you through what TradingView is and how it works. Not going to get into that today, but I can promise you that if you look at this chart, it's pretty simple to see that this is a nice solid uptrend. Okay, we had a low price and now we have a high price. The price was all the way down here at $2.50. Now it's $11,887. That doesn't take a rocket scientist. Pretty common sense, right? Good. All right, so it turns out that each time these candles make a move, they don't just make a random move. They make a controlled move. Now, does that mean the chart's controlled? Not necessarily. That means that the buyers and the sellers have a set point that they've found that they want to stop at. Okay? They figured out, I want this price. All the other dudes in this room want this price. This is the price we're going to aim for. And if we get this price, we're going to get out. And the sellers are doing the same thing. We're going to sell this until it gets down to X. And then at X, we're not going to sell anymore. We're going to buy. All right? Common sense. So, I'll tell you now, I was told back then that technical analysis doesn't work. I was told that crypto is too controlled. It's for drug dealers to buy and sell weed and coke with. It's not used for anything else. My opinion changed when I learned about Forex and I learned about crypto. And I still didn't own any at the time. But myself and my girlfriend took a trip to China. And when I went to China, I found out that everything there they do is digital. They kind of laugh at cash. They laugh at us for using cash. And when I pulled out Chinese RMB, which is their Chinese yuan, I pulled that out, the RMB, to pay for stuff in cash. I found out they didn't have any change. They didn't have any change to give me back because they don't expect cash. Kind of like what's happening right now in America, isn't it? We have a change shortage. If you pay with cash, I'm sorry, I might not be able to give you your change back. Tough titty. Well, it's already come and gone in China. And I hate to say it, sad to say, but they're already ahead of us on that, okay? They've passed us on that. They're way past us on that. I found out when I went to China that the correct way to buy and sell things over there is to use Alipay or a similar app. You have a QR code attached to your account. Everything that you buy simply comes off the QR code that you scan at the register. It takes 1 second. Bam. Buy and sold just like that. It's amazing. So, how do you fund Alipay? Well, you need a Chinese bank account. Not a Chinese national, so I can't have a Chinese bank account. Well, how else can you fund Alipay? Turns out you can fund Alipay with Bitcoin. All right, so I had to buy Bitcoin. Well, where did I get Bitcoin from? So what did I do? Got on Google. Google told me to go to Coinbase. Coinbase has Bitcoin for sale. I bought some Bitcoin, loaded up on Alipay. Not hard to figure out. Now I can use that to buy and sell items right off the register, right off my QR code really quickly. Chinese tables and restaurants have a QR code. Stores have a QR code. Grocery stores, QR codes. It's way quicker. Sorry, it just is. And if you don't understand that we're going to that, you aren't paying attention. So, all that being said, what's the purpose of any of this? Well, we want to try to determine these prices the best that we can so that we can make the most amount of money with every move. Now, I'm not going to dig into any more technical stuff or history or crap. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you Fibonacci retracements and indicators that told me what this chart was going to do and why I did it. Okay, I figured this out a while back, and I haven't had but a couple people ask me about it, but it particularly happened today in our private group where a guy had a question about Bitcoin, and he had a theory that it was just going to take off and run like it did last time. Well, that's not what happened. It was a controlled ride. It rode up, it came down, it rode up, it came down. I'm going to show you that now. So let's start. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is pull my retracement tool, and I'm going to start identifying trends. I have another video that I can show you trends. I can edit this later, and I'll put that in here too. All right, so I have one here, the top of this, and if I go down to the bottom, I can start to see that we've hit certain points and done certain things. This is the monthly chart, okay? We already know on technical analysis of Fibonacci retracement that the most important two fib lines are the 50 and the 786. Looky here, we hit the 786. It thought about it for just a little bit. It checked up on it and it took off. Now it blew right through the 1618, which is my typical line that I like to see it hit a lot. Blew right through it. Okay. Struck me as odd when it did that. So what I did was drop down to the weekly. I tend to do most of my trading on the daily, and oh, I accidentally drew. I use the 4 hour for in and out, and I usually monitor via the daily. Okay, so I don't really do that much. I don't really do that much monthly trading because cryptocurrency moves really quickly, and I don't want to wait that long. So I'm not even going to count this wick because that's a really odd wick. Okay, and I know for a fact that Bitstamp is a little bit of a whack exchange, and when I see these really bonkers wicks like this, I don't really count them all the time. So I'm going to go back to the very beginning of Bitcoin, just down here. All right, so if I go down to the weekly, what I see is it got rejected at the 100% retracement, and before that it got rejected down here at the 71 retracement. It bounced down, hit around a little bit, and finally tried to take off again. Okay, got rejected at the one line, came down to the 786, which is number 1 or 2 most important fib line, caught support and took off. Blew right through my 2 main targets all the way up here to well past 2. Okay, that was odd to me. I don't normally see it go past the 1618, but if it wants to go to the 2, that's fine. It did, and not only did it go to the 2, but it didn't make it to the 3. Stopped and hit the 2 line a couple times. All right, so for sure we had a down right here. We had an up. We had another down that reversed and took off. So I'm going to remove this one and start another one. This little small one right here. Alright, right there. Let's zoom in and have a look at it. So I had an up right here. It pulled down and made a small downtrend and reversed up. It reversed beautifully. Matter of fact, it reversed right to, widen this out a little bit, we can see it a little better, 1.618. It did wick the 2, but it really got rejected right here at 1618. Bounced all the way back down to the 1 line and then took off again. So once again, we hit our 1.618 marker. Technical analysis showed us that we had a uptrend, a retracement, which is normal market correction, a reversal, and a perfect technical stopping point of 1618. If technical analysis doesn't work on cryptocurrency, then why did that work? Why was that so close? Why was it so close to that 1.618 line? If we measure this little uptrend that we had right here, we came down and made a, look at there, the number 1 or number 2 most important lines, the 50 line, hit it 3 times and then zip, took off up. A perfect 50% retracement. That's market correction. That is typical stuff. I don't care whether it's a stock, Forex, mutual fund, bond, precious metal, doesn't matter to me. 50%, oh, clicked on the wrong button. 50% retracements, that's magic. We love to see 50% retracements because this means a trend is going to continue, whether it be up or down. We had an uptrend and a 50% retracement, 50% correction with a perfect move, and it took off. So now that I know this, I can measure another one. I know this was a good solid retrace, so I'm going to use that to measure another. Here we had another uptrend starting here to the top of this one. Looky here, like I didn't plan this at all. Another 50% continuation retrace. From this trend we moved up, 50% back down, perfect retrace, perfect. And from there, we took back off again. Beautiful. It's a 50% continuation. Now that I know this is the next point, I'm going to measure again. That's so far one time that technical analysis wasn't perfect when I went up to this 2 line. and 3 times or 4 times when the technical analysis was correct. So that's about 75% so far. So far. Now, from the top of this one to the bottom down here. Got a little wild here. Look at that. Got a little wild. Not going to lie. This is when I went to the monthly and saw that it came all the way up here to this 2 line. It went a long way up, okay? When that happens like that, when I see that, that worries me, because when I have these incomplete cycles, when it doesn't hit my 1618 line, automatically makes me think it's going to come back down to it. Now, it doesn't always. Sometimes it just takes off. And it's a good theory of mine that eventually comes back. This is the gap that I've always talked about on Bitcoin that's at the bottom. And it's never came back down and closed the gap. It's a whole separate video, a whole separate strategy and theory. But this gap from this point to this point remains open to this day. It was full buy with never a correction. You see, there's all these corrections in here. Corrections, corrections, corrections. And then it just, zoop, okay? This makes me think that one day, 100 years from now, I don't know, that's going to come down here and correct to $16.45. That's a stupid theory. I get it. And it may not ever happen. And this theory also holds water when we look at other coins, that they're probably never going to go all the way down to the bottom again. It probably just won't happen. This is the only time that Bitcoin's done this. Okay, the only time that Bitcoin's done this. Okay, this is the same point when I did the monthly that went from here to the bottom and then came up. This is that 2 line. Okay, so I'm going to erase this one because it didn't line up. I'm going to pull a new one. The bottom point up. Now, we made a beautiful, this one was correct. If you remember, this was a 50% retrace down here. Then we started a new uptrend. We went up all the way to the top, and bam, look at here, 50% retracement. Beautiful. Not only that, but it hit this 38 right here too, and it made a really clean 38 touch and took off. That's beautiful. Technical analysis, once again, a 50% continuation wick, and a go. I love it. Okay. Now we have a wick at the top. We can pull down and measure a small downtrend and see how far it went. Holy shit, look at there. Right on 1618. That's where our action stopped. Right on 1618. Man, if technical analysis doesn't work, then why does it keep hitting the points that technical analysis says it should hit? Over and over and over. It keeps happening. Grab me something to drink real quick here. All right. So, that was really pretty. That looked great to me. So that was, I think, 6 times technical analysis worked, or 7 times that technical analysis using Fibonacci retracement was correct, and 1 or maybe 2 times that it wasn't. All right. 7 out of 9, that's a pretty damn good average. If you're a 7 out of 9 baseball hitter, you're an all-star. Okay? Like you're the greatest baseball player of all time. So, not tooting my own horn, this is just common stuff. All right, from there, we did this beautiful, beautiful downward retrace and reversal. Like magical looking stuff. Now we got this really, really long, drawn out run. It took a really long time. And as a matter of fact, it looks like we got a downtrend here. And a big downtrend that took from, what's this date right here? November 25th, 13, all the way to January 15. So 2 years of down. Boy, I bet that sucked. I bet that sucked hard. 2 years of down. Who saw the down coming? Man, I don't know. It's so controlled that it just must be somebody pushing a magic button. There must be someone pushing a magic button. Well, we've come from this bottom wick. We know this was a 50% retrace. And we know this downtrend right here happened. So we had an uptrend. Did it come back and retrace its full deal? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's pull down here to the actual 50% one down here. Alright, so this one took a long time to happen, but this one did more than a 50. It tried to hold the 50, but down here and come down here and wicked and hit the 618. These 618s, 68, 71, some people use the 72, doesn't really matter, they're really close together. These are all extra retracement lines. Sometimes these get hit, that's just part of it, but they're extra stopping points before it crosses the 786. Okay, it's important that we know this because it can sometimes go past this 50 line and go down to these other ones. That's just part of the game. Okay, you hit these one line at a time usually, and when we see them not hit them one line at a time, they blow down through them all the way. And when they blow down through them all the way, that's bad news. If it's going up, it's good news. So this is why we use these tools. We came all the way up over the period of a long time, 2 years nearly. It came down here and retraced to 0.618. Beautiful, beautiful move. Furthermore, we can go all the way down to the daily and look at this stuff on a little bit more detailed level. And I want to show you some ugly stuff here for perspective. I think it's important that we keep perspective on the chart and understand that it's not always up. The elevator comes down. That's the best way to put what I'm trying to say. The elevator is going to come down, and it's going to come down hard. And you just better learn to deal with it. There's guys in the group that can explain what I'm saying when I say the elevator is going to come down hard. Or you could just take my damn word for it. I've lost enough money in this to know that that elevator slams that damn door shut in your face. There's nothing you can do about it. So man up and take it on the chin. There we go. Now we're getting some colors in there. So the daily is even closer. We had all these little stopping points that the weekly didn't show, which is really cool. All right. Well, the daily has a lot more action. And that action gives us answers into what's going on. We can see that this red candle was a retracement and it came back up and reversed and went up. Well, how much did it go? Did it do enough? Did it complete a full cycle? Well, look, it didn't really. It hit the 236 line and then failed and then came dumping down to 68. It tried to pull back, but it couldn't. It never broke up anymore. It couldn't make a higher high. It made a lower high, which is a sign of a downtrend, and made a steady pull down. In fact, it pulled all the way down to the 71 line, or probably 72. Some people use that 72. In this matter, it wouldn't have really mattered. It's 0.1% difference. So regardless, we're seeing these downtrends, and we're actually seeing that there's one here and one here, two of them. So let's measure them each individually. I just want to show you this as an example. We see this here tried to take off and go, but didn't. And here's where the really cool stuff comes in handy. Okay, right there is pretty damn close. Let's zoom in some here so we can get a nice, pretty picture of it. Alright, so we tried to make an uptrend. It didn't make it, and it failed. And when it failed miserably. It blew right through all these, the 50 line, the 618, the 68, the 71, the 786. Blew through them all and came all the way down to the 2 line, just like it did on the weekly. Hit the 1618, hit the 1414, and bounced up. Okay, when it bounced up, it crossed a bunch of fib lines, so it canceled out this fib set. We can make a new fib set. This bottom wick down here, and this up. Once again, We came up, we didn't make a higher high, we made a lower high, failed. Hit the 236, dumped, went right through the 50, dumped again, went right through the important 786, continued to dump. Where did it go? Look at that. Right to the 1618. The uptrend failed and reversed into a downtrend. Just like earlier when we saw it going from a downtrend and reversing up, it did the same thing here. It went to an uptrend and failed and went down to a damn near perfect 1618. Each time I find a nice solid retracement, this becomes my next point that I measure from. I know it's a lot of information, and no, I do not expect anyone to understand this at first. It's tough. It took me a long time over the period of a couple years to grasp this stuff good enough to be willing to risk any money. Again, the uptrend happened. We hit 236, which would have been an insanely crazy bust up, run like crazy move. But then it got hung up and moved sideways. And just continued to move sideways and kind of down. Let's tighten it up a little bit here. And look. Alright, so once we failed and it broke that line, it came all the way down to the 618 line or the 68 line. It threw a couple wicks all the way down, but didn't stay there. It kind of hung out. Hit the 618 and bounced back up. Now we can measure this. Let's delete this one. We have a high point and a low point. Remember when we were measuring earlier to see if we could figure out if things are going to reverse and take off? Here we had a downtrend and we're waiting for it to pop up and go up here. Like the other ones did, you know? Man, we want this thing to reverse and go. Well, look what happened. It didn't reverse and go up. It came up, hit the 618, and dumped more. So now that we see that, we can erase this one and go to the next one. I think that's 11 times it did a perfect retracement and 2 that it didn't. Here we go again, a top, a bottom. We're trying to see if it reverses and launches, and look, it didn't. 618 again. I think that's another perfect technical analysis. If it doesn't work, why does it keep happening? Now we have a little uptrend right here. Hey, you know, we made this up and it failed, but look, it didn't continue to go down anymore. It just did a little 50%. That's a continuation up. Hey, I like it. How far up did we go? I don't know. Let's measure. We did a nice 50% retracement. It's beautiful, like when we first started looking. All right, let's pull from the bottom. And we go up. Oh, you know what? Let me do this differently. We had a reversal. So I'm going to still use this top up here. I come to the point where it was the lowest. Stop it. Stop it. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The action happened at the 1618 line again. If it doesn't work, why does it keep happening? I don't get it. Now I'm showing you all this on the daily, and this stuff continues to go and go and go. Now I know we have a high point. I hate when my thing kind of stutters a little bit and leaves all these little dots. So let me erase those here. We have a high point right here. We have a low point all the way down here. It's a long way down, y'all. Whew. Or is it enough? No, look, there's more down there. We could keep going. We got so many candles in here in this fib set that we should probably jump up to a higher time frame. So let's do that. Let's look at the weekly. Hey. It's a little more descriptive. In fact, I see something else. I see an uptrend right here. and what appears to be, are you kidding me again? 1618 reversal. Straight to the 1618 line. Not only that, but it checked up at the 50 right here. Kind of made a decision that it wasn't going to go and went down. Broke the 786, but look, tested it multiple times and then hit the 1618 retracement. Interesting. Interesting. If it doesn't work, why does it keep happening? Let's see what some of the guys are saying, because they're watching this too. Yeah, Dre, I'm not sure, bro. It's got me kind of wondering. What's up, EJ? I see you in here. Sorry, I'm not answering any questions or talking to y'all. Like I said, I was going to do this public video here so others could enjoy what we enjoy. Or at least get an introduction into this and kind of start to understand. So we have another downtrend right here. That's pretty clear. We can measure this and see if it takes off, or we can continue to measure all these different moves. We can go all the way down to the 1 minute chart and see these different moves happening, but I'm not going to do that. It's a bit much. This will be the last one I show you. Look at that. From the top to the bottom. Goodness gracious, look at here. Look at all this action at the 50 line. Goodness, this is over weeks. Weeks of playing around with the 50 line before it went up to the 786 and got rejected. But held on and came up to the 1 line and got rejected. But again, held on and came all the way up to the 1618 line and hit it again. Man. Dude, I wish I knew what I was talking about. There are going to be people who watch this video who are immediately going to go run to a certain few YouTube guys and say, dude, if this is true, then why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you tell us? I don't understand. Why didn't you tell us? And they're going to say, oh, it doesn't really work. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just making it up. That's fine. I've been called stupid by more important people. So we hit this 1618. We hit this 1414 line. And you can see this is happening on a weekly chart. On the daily, it probably even looked better. Okay? I tend to watch the daily. But, you know, I like to refer to the weekly and refer to the monthly. We've not looked at the monthly in about a minute, so let's look. Hey. From the top to the bottom, sweet reversal. And we made it all the way to the 2 line on this one. Bitcoin does that sometimes. It uses the 2 lines sometimes. Not that often, but it happens. Alright, so we hit this 2 line, had a little action, and it failed. And not only did it fail, but it failed to the 1618 line. Unbelievable. Let's measure this from the bottom up and see how much it retraced, because that doesn't look like 50% to me. That looks like something else. That looks like a different level. Whoop. Made my chart too wide. I'll fix it later. No big deal. From the bottom up. Look at there. Like perfect 382 retrace. Now, in the world of stocks or Forex, someone would look at the 382 retrace as a continuation up and be super excited, because that means we're going to get some real hard movement up. And it did move up pretty hard, pretty quick, but it didn't go far. And as a matter of fact, that's where we're at now. We've kind of hit a standstill. We've been waiting on this level to change for a while. A lot of people lost a lot of money waiting on this. Right about in here is when I got into the game. Let's see. Yeah, right around in here is when I got into the game. Alright, so I've been waiting for this to happen for a while. We've been sitting on our investments for a while. A lot of us have. And it's finally starting to come around for us. So Do I think that technical analysis works? Not only do I think it works, I think it works to a degree of probably 70 to 73% after doing the math. So if you were to go to the number one odds place in the world called Las Vegas, and you went in there with 72 or 73% odds, they would kick you out because you're not allowed to win that much. If I'm giving you information right now that tells you that you're going to get 72 to 73% win rate, I don't care what it is, baseball, checkers, or charts, 72 or 73% win rate, give it to me every time. That means I'm going to lose sometimes, and those losses are going to suck. But 72% of the time I'm going to win. That's just like watching basketball and saying that, Michael Jordan was only a one-on-one player, or saying he was only a team player and not a one-on-one player. And the answer to him was, I'm not the tallest guy. I'm not the biggest guy. But you put me one-on-one, I'm going to beat you. One-on-one, I'm going to beat you. And I'm probably going to beat you most of the time. Just like I'm telling you I can beat this chart most of the time. 77% anyway. So, one last fib set here before we go off on this. I see it right now that this hurt everybody's feelings when this happened. This downtrend reversed, but it didn't break the 786. I got rejected right here. Okay? A lot of people lost a whole lot of money right here, including me. This was my mistake because I didn't wait for this break. I should have known that this downtrend and reversal was happening, and then that when this hit right here is going to go down because it didn't break and hold. It just touched and dove. That was my mistake. I own that mistake, and I'd have a really, really large amount of wealth. I'm not going to tell you how much, but I have a large amount of wealth if I had played that better. Okay, it's enough to tell you that I wouldn't be still doing my normal 9 to 5. Well, what is my job? 5:30 to 5:30. I wouldn't be doing my normal 5:30 to 5:30. Okay, I would be doing this full time. That's how much I lost. Okay, so we got a failure there. Let's do one more because I'm an addict. In case you didn't know. Pull this fib down here to about that point. I like to get as accurate as I can on these, so sometimes that takes me a second to get them perfect. And I'm using an optical mouse that kind of sticks on this mouse pad a little bit. Now, what didn't happen over here on this downtrend and up has already happened over here. We came down, reversed up, and it looks like we crossed this very important barrier of 786 right here. Not only did we cross it, but we checked down and touched it again and tested it, and it seems like we're going to move up toward 13,942 or 14,000, a nice round number of 14,000, a psychological number of 14,000. So I don't know how long that's going to take. This is a monthly chart. It could be a day or a year before it hits 14,000. But I can reasonably deduct that that's going to happen. 786 Assassin. Bro, we need to make a shirt, Acre, that says that. We need to make a 786 Assassin shirt. That's dope. I really like that idea. Acre's one of the guys in the group that you guys can't see, okay? Because I just got the screen locked in on the chart here and the camera up. All right, so I've showed you a lot. The last thing I'll show you is the one simple indicator that I have down here called the MACD. I'm not going to explain the MACD to you. What I'm just going to tell you is the MACD gives us a help on buying and selling. Okay, it gives us some more data that we can use to buy, sell, hold, or run. Okay, I have another video on the MACD that I can also add in here. I'm going to have to add a lot of crap in this thing. I can see it's going to have to be edited. And I'm going to be honest with y'all guys, another reason I haven't made any more Mustang videos or haven't made any more ATV videos is because the editing sucks. I spend probably an hour or two editing each video. That's not even that funny or cool. The videos still kind of blow. So anyway, we can see that the MACD shows us some big runs, and it crosses, the lines cross. I'm not going to explain them. You can look in the other video. The lines cross and told us to sell. And then after it told us to sell, it continued to drop. And not only did it drop, it dropped hard. From the point of cross, which is right here, down, it took 1 year and it dropped 74% in value. Okay, that's a nasty ass drop. And you wouldn't have wanted to buy until, you know, you got a nice solid cross back in the other direction where the blue would be over the orange. When the oranges over the blue were down, blue over the orange up. Here I am explaining shit when I said I wasn't going to explain it. Anyway, we got a cross and it dumped more. I'd have been using my Fibonacci retracement and my other indicators, but either way, it didn't really show me a lot here. It kind of run flat and then it dumped more. But we did have a cross here. February 11th. February 11th up here. Right there. Grab my tool for measuring. February 11th. And then we move up. Looks like we're going to have a cross about right here. Actually, a little more over. I was off a touch on that, and I want to get it right. I don't want nobody giving me shit about it. Right there. Okay. Right there's the cross. Here's the day we would have sold. So I need to hit that bottom wick right there, because we would have saw that bottom wick and decided that was the way to get out. 165% profits. So if you put $1,000 in here, you'd have made $1,650 in 196 days. You'd have made 165% profit on whatever you bought right in here by using nothing but this indicator alone. Just this indicator. Not using retracements, not using any others. We would have actually made more than that, and I will explain to you in other videos at another time how we would have made more than that. But that's for another day. Anyway, other than that, I hope everyone watches this and pays attention and has enough attention span to watch for what has been 53 minutes. That's probably like 3 of y'all who have a 53-minute attention span. But I hope the 3 that do watch this become intrigued. And when you get intrigued, you want to know more. And if you really want to know more, message me and I'll help you out. If you don't want to know more and you just want someone else to spend the money for you, well, don't watch any more videos. Don't worry about this stuff. What am I talking about? I'm just an asshole. I don't know anything. I'm just a guy. I'm nobody special. Use your reason. Use a little bit of common sense. And when you come to the conclusion finally that you're tired of other people spending your money for you, you are the one responsible for your money, no one else, and you want to make some real money, well, get back to me and we can figure something out. I'm sure the guys in the group wouldn't mind having a couple new people to either teach or be taught by. Okay? So, anyway, I'm Keith. Thanks for watching. Anybody needs anything, let me know. I have this video uploaded probably in a day or two after I edit it, because it's going to take me some time to edit. Other than that, thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.